Yeah, we live again. Do you see it?
Okay.
Something ain't right, fam. My phone just went dead, and my Facebook wouldn't open back up again. See, I tell you, somebody didn't like what I was saying. I mean, there's no other excuse. My phone registered that it was super too hot.
Yeah.
And from being, how my phone too hot and it's sitting in the house, ain't no sunlight, ain't nothing. And right after they said it was too hot, my phone shut down. And after my phone shut down, it came back on. But when it came back on, it wouldn't allow me to go back to Facebook. Something ain't right. But see, I'm aware of what's going on. You might not be, but I am. It's cool. How we looking at the camera, man? We close enough. We got this thing right.
You was good just now. Yeah, I was good. That's good.
So I guess I gotta tone it down a little bit, else they're gonna cut this phone off too.
Stop talking about the reptilians. Right?
Yeah, can't. Yeah, they don't.
They have
want me-
code words when you start saying the F word
They don't want me to
and the
expose
R
too much.
word.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You can say the N word all day long.
Dropping them jewels, spreading too much knowledge, real knowledge. And a lot of these knowledges, things that I'm speaking about, is going to be unfamiliar to you, and it's going to sound strange or even weird a little bit until you research it and find out that what I'm saying to you is a fact. Yeshua, you might want to change your chair, because that chair leaning, you're going to fall. I'm going to be laughing when you fall.
Well, I have insurance.
Yeah, we got our insurance, but I'm going to be like, ha, ha, ha.
I'm no lightweight.
And I'm going to do all that because you wouldn't be for us today. You want to help us out, but that's cool.
I'll pick you up from the airport, though.
So where we at, family? We were talking about the sandbar that's in your midst. How when you build that wall, Sanballat sees that you're trying to do this, build this to better yourself, to become a better individual, and he'll just try to spread some poison in there to tear your wall down because he's really angry and upset that you're trying to do something to better yourself. Think about this for a minute, fam. If you got somebody in your team, somebody in your circle that you trust and you think they're good to you, and you tell them you're trying to go back to college to get a college degree so you can get a better job to provide better for your family, and then they start talking bad to you like, man, you don't need that. Don't do that. That's a waste of time. That's a waste of money. We could be out here smoking blunts, man.
Whoa.
We could be out here smoking some crack.
I don't
We
know.
could be chasing some women.
Mhm,
We could be
okay.
doing all kind of things. That's a sin, but
Yeah.
so you be mindful of that type of person, that type of individual. If you got people that every time you're in their face, they talking good about you, but you keep getting all these reports that they spreading all these rumors and gossip about you behind your back. Be like, yo, that's supposed to be my homie. But your homie talking that stuff, they call it that smack behind your back. That's a Sanballat. Gotta be careful. Sanballat is listening. One of the things is that you have to make sure that you are not the Sanballat to someone else. That means you don't talk evil about those people who put their trust in you,
Okay.
that considers you to be their friend. That means you don't talk down on their dreams and their hopes of greatness, of achieving. If you got a brother that's in construction, but he worked for somebody else, and he says to you one day, yo, bro, I want to quit my job and I want to open my own company. And you telling him 13,000 reasons why he shouldn't open his own company. Then you're a Sanballat, because you're holding him back from his progression. Every man is entitled to a free step toward their destiny. And if you get in a man's way of his destiny, you can alter his future forever. You have to be a motivator when you speak to people. You have to be an encourager when you speak to people. You have to be carefully criticizing and making sure, now if you got a buddy or a sister or a friend that you know got that little spark in their personality from the Creator, that you know they're destined for greatness, you got to be critical with them. Because when they come to you, you got to make sure that everything they do is by the will of the Most High and is moving in righteousness. So if you detect some evil in their path, you're supposed to bring it to their attention and don't be afraid to say it. Yo, bro, you can't do that with her. It could be a trap from the Most High. One of my buddies did that to me one time.
Yeah.
Did you listen?
Nope. That's how I could talk about it today. Because if I would have listened, then it probably wouldn't be no big deal. But I didn't listen. And I didn't pay him no mind. He said, yo, because I just thought I knew. I was like, yo, man, this is it. I'm cool. He says, yo, Prince, how'd you bump into her? What happened? He said something like, nah, man, that's a test. Prince said, man, ain't no test. Because look, this how it happened.
I wasn't even supposed to go that
it's
way.
a test.
I went around and then I seen
Yeah,
it.
that's what he said. And then, sure enough, wasn't even 3 months, was it? Wasn't even 3 months, I don't believe it was, before we found out it was a test.
Super test.
Super. And it altered the future of life. It did. But it brought me right back to where I needed to go. You understand? And we picked right up where we left off at, I have to say 20 years ago. I have to say about 15, 20 years ago. It took me right back to where I was about almost 20 years ago after that whole ordeal had ended. Because that situation brought on another situation, that brought on another situation, and it took about 1.5 years before all that was over. And that's been about 4 years ago. But that whole situation was done in place to clean me up and to make me who I needed to be once again. And it took me back 15, 20 years. It made me right. And I am so grateful and appreciative. I am.
So sometimes Sambalat is...
It ain't the Sambalat I'm talking about. He was right. The Sambalat was, it wasn't no Sambalat. That wasn't no Sambalat.
Oh.
That was the true brother.
It was your right hand man.
That was the true brother, the true friend, the one that was right.
Oh, okay.
So, but when I'm talking about the Sambalat in that situation was the one that was being used to bring you back, that woman or that man that was using your life to bring you away from the Creator that you don't even see. That was a Sambalat. She was a Sambalat.
Gotcha.
But if you know how to utilize Sambalat, or if the Most High gives you a blessing to utilize Sambalat, Sambalat can work out to be a benefit for you in your life once you realize that it's Sambalat.
She gotta be strong.
And I'm grateful and I'm thankful. Because I probably wouldn't be standing here today had the Most High not had mercy and directed me, and redirected me, and corrected me, and beat me down, and broke me down, and did a lot of the things that he did to cause me to see the Sambalat in my life and benefit off of the curses that Sambalat was trying to place on my life. Okay? So, verse 2.
Verse 2.
Nehemiah chapter 6, verse 2.
You're doing a great job.
Hour and a half later. And Sanballat and Geshem sent unto me, saying, now here goes how Sanballat works. They will make you think there is peace when there is no peace. Sanballat will try to utilize you and trick you and make you think that everything is peace when in actuality
It's right.
it's a war. Sanballat trying to take you out. Sanballat is a lot of jealous people that don't want to see you do good either.
Yeah.
Don't want to see you do things that they themselves are not able to do or not doing. Sanballat will try to get you. Sanballat says, come let us meet together in one of the villages in the plains of Ono. Ono was a place that was developed. You only find it in about 2 or 3 different places throughout the scriptures. It was a place that was inhabited or developed. It's called a field of a garrison or shield or comfort or some type of warrior grounds. Ono. But they thought to do him or me mischief. They set it up like they was trying to do something good. Sanballat will cause you to think that they're trying to do something good for you, like this coronavirus vaccine. They make you think they're trying to do something good for you, but instead, they really have a hidden agenda. Sanballat, now that Sanballat is on a higher level. The one that's on your friend your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, your loved one, your husband or wife is on a lesser level but more powerful, just as powerful, because they have the opportunity to change the course of your life.
Get closer to
You gotta watch them. They will pretend to do you good, but their true intentions are to do you mischief and do you harm. And I send messages to them saying, oh, he was wise. Nehemiah was wise. He understood that Sanballat meant no good. And there's nothing good that's going to come from Sanballat. So once you detect the Sanballat in your life, it's time for you to do what?
get them away from
Get away from them. Watch it. And ain't nothing wrong with separating from evildoers once you find out who they are. What did he say? He said, I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Why should the work cease while I leave it and come down to you? And they said unto me 4 times after this sort. They didn't want to stop. They figured if they keep being persistent with it. And sometimes Sanballat will do that to try to take you and divert you off your path. He will be, oh, here, I got this for you. Why don't you come over here and get this, Yeshaya?
Oh, wow.
Yeshaya got enough strength and courage. He hangs up the phone, bang, I don't want to deal with you no more. But she keep coming back. Yeshaya get enough courage and hang up the phone and be like, yo, stop calling my phone. Bang, but why didn't Yeshaya just block her? Why didn't he just block her? Then he wouldn't have to worry about that, right? If he would have just killed the messenger and sent his head back in a casket, in a coffin, then they would have known not to send nobody else, right?
possibly.
So that's what I'm trying to say to you. You got to kill it before it grows, because once Sanballat gets its foot into the foothold and you allow a little portion of Sanballat in, it's going to get you. You got to cut it off. If that person in your life is evil and you know they're evil, you give them one opportunity to change their direction, change their steps. If they don't do it, you cut them and you go toward the ways of righteousness. The problem is us, we want to do too much compromising for too long, thereby causing pain and hardship and hatred and hurt on our own lives and on our own developments, trying to help them to come up when they really don't want to come up. They want to bring you down. But if you cut it off and be done with it and move on, then you'll be fine. But know this for a fact. There are many Sanballats in your life. Or should I say Sanballat? There are many Sanballat in your life. You have to be able to determine who is and who ain't. And then how you're going to deal with Sanballat is what's most important. He says, and they sent it to me 4 times after this sort, and I answered them the same manner. He remained diligent, consistent in the way that he dealt with them. So on Thursday night, when you go out to your favorite restaurant, and you get that phone call, every time they call, they come and seek you out, tell them you don't smoke crack no more. Tell them you don't do it no more. And watch how they treat you. They're going to try to convince you to just take a puff and give. They're going to try to, they're going to be out with you and they just might start smoking puff and then try to pass it to you until you stop and cut them off, get away from them, separate yourself from them. It might not be crack. It may be other things in your life that Sanballat is trying to utilize to bring you down, to hold you back, to get what he needs out of you so that you don't elevate and grow closer toward the Creator. Ultimately, that should be your path, to walk closer toward the Almighty. Now, right now, while you're hearing this message, it might not even soak in really thoroughly what this message is all about until you hear it again and hear it again. And then you're going to sit back and start applying it to your life when you start living your life, which means once you ain't listening to it no more, you're going to be living your life and you're going to start seeing things that you didn't see before. Because this lesson is being taught to you to speak unto your subconscious mind to give you an awareness that you didn't have prior to this lesson being taught. So I will be successful, and I will open your vision so that you can see. Okay?
Yeah.
And they said unto me 4 times after this sort, and I answered them after the same manner. Then sent Sanballat his servant unto me in like manner the 5th time, with an open letter in his hand. Now Sanballat getting desperate. If you're a man, Sanballat is attacking you with sex, she gonna give you an offer that you can't refuse. And if you're weak, you're gonna fall victim. But if you're not and you're strong, you'll maintain your discipline and you'll move forward. If you used to be a drug dealer and you gave up selling drugs to serve the Creator, those people who used to give you your drugs will make a consignment deal that you cannot refuse. Yo, man, I give you 15 bricks, man. Just give me 10,000 a brick. A deal that you cannot refuse.
Hey.
And you're going to be like, yo, all right, I'm willing if you're weak. But if you remain strong, you won't give in. And Sanballat won't be successful. You gave up that life so you can walk closer to the Creator. You stop using those drugs so you can walk closer to the Creator. You stop being a womanizer, an abuser, so you can walk closer to the Creator. You stop being a harlot for the women. Now that dude that you used to like so much that wouldn't give you the time of day, now he gonna make it easy for you. Because you have turned away from evil and you begin to give your life to the Creator. That's a Sanballat in disguise. But you have to be able to recognize it.
Six, I believe.
5. Then sent Sanballat his servant unto me in like manner the 5th time with an open letter in his hand, wherein was written, It is reported among the nations, and Gershom said it, that thou and the Jews think to rebel. What are you rebelling against in your life right now? Not Nehemiah, because we know what Nehemiah is rebelling against. But in your life right now, what is it that you're rebelling against? That Sanballat is trying to bring you back to where you were. You're rebelling against evil. You're rebelling against turning away from the Almighty. That's what you're rebelling against. You're rebelling against evil and negativity, destruction, wickedness, harlotry, all types of abominable things you're rebelling against. And the adversary knows this. Therefore, the adversary is trying to bring you back to where he feels most comfortable with you in his life. And remember again, Sanballat can be your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Well, we don't have boyfriends and girlfriends in Israel. It could be your husband. It could be your wife. It could be your best friend. It could even be your children. Because children are wicked sometimes also. So you have to raise your antennas up. And anybody that comes into your sphere, remember that word, sphere? Anybody that comes into your sphere that is not for your betterment, you have to be able to detect it. And a lot of us can't detect that. Therefore, our lives are stagnant. Year after year, we don't develop or progress much. Our progression is very slow. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. Our progression is like we crawling as opposed to leaping. When we have the ability to leap, I don't understand what's wrong with me because I have all these skills, all this talent, and I know this trade, and I know how to do this, and I know how to do that, and I can sew, and I can cook, and I can clean, but for some reason, you don't seem to be making no progress in your life. You're at the same level you've been for the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You might have made a little bit of an improvement, like you might have got a little bit more work than you got last year, but what are you doing with it? How is your life changing? How is it that work benefiting or profiting you when you're still in debt and you can't get out of debt? And it's a lot of times it's because those Sanballat that you have in your life are really causing you to stagnate your progression and you can't see it. Gideon said that thou and the Jews think to rebel, for which cause thou buildest the wall, and thou wouldest be their king. Thou wouldest be their king, even according to these words. And thou hast also appointed prophetess to proclaim of thee at Jerusalem, saying, there is a king in Judah. So they're trying to say that he is setting up false prophets to go around, like he paid these prophets to go around and say he is who he's not. You follow me?
Yeah.
These type of things will happen to you in your life. People will spread rumors about you that are not true, just to try to hold you back or tear you down. And if you allow it to happen, they will be successful.
Yeah.
If you give in to these rumors, they will be successful. And they may even be successful to your own demise, because somebody might come up and try to harm you permanently. And thou hast also appointed prophets and proclaimed them, there is a king in Judah. And now shall it be reported to the king according to these words. Come now therefore, and let us take counsel together. Now all these accusations was made against the brother, right? They all were false.
Right.
Did the brother run from the accusations?
No.
Did the brother hide from the accusations? Or did he face the accusations head on? And say, ho, who is my accusers? Bring them forward. Where they at? Let us have a hearing. Let us have a sit down right now so we can discuss these matters. Did he even deny what was being accused against him? That's not my intentions. I'm not trying to do that. This is not where I'm at. That's an imagination of your own. I've never done such a thing, neither will I. Whenever someone raises a false report or an evil report up against you, immediately you have to deal with that issue.
That's right.
You don't let it fester. You don't let it grow. You deal with it. And you let the truth be known. Whoever accepts it, accepts it. Whoever don't, they don't. But you have to go on record justifying your point. Then I sent unto him, saying, he dealt with that matter right away. There are no such things done that thou sayest, but thou feignest them in thy own mind. For they all would have us afraid, saying, their hands shall be weakened from the work that is to be not be done. But now strengthen thou my hand, talking to the Creator. Strengthen thou my hand. And as far as me, I went into the house of Shemaiah, the son of Deliah, the son of Mehetabel. Now, he went to this brother thinking that he can talk to this brother, reason with this brother, and work things out. But this brother was an implant. This brother was a deceiver. Now, sometimes, family, what am I saying? Sometimes you got a friend that are more persuasive over somebody else that you think in your life you can confide in. Like maybe your son, maybe your daughter, maybe your next door neighbor. Somebody else who was really the big Sanballat has convinced them to become a little Sanballat and turn against you. Believe me, what I'm saying to you is very, very possible. And it's happening even today as we speak. See, Sanballat don't work by himself usually. He has to have others who is on his team to work in sequence simultaneously while he's doing what he's doing. And you know what Sanballat usually does? He usually pick out people who have an admiration towards you. Somebody who likes you, somebody who admires you, and he begins to work on that individual to like befriend them, win their confidence, win their trust, all along turning, well, you don't really want to deal with her because she this and she that. Well, you don't really want to deal with him because he's like this, and you don't know, but he thinks this of himself. This is the way he really gets down, but he don't let y'all know that. That's how Sanballat operates. And then that person start looking at you cross-eyed out the corner of their eye. When they used to trust you, now that trust have turned into something where they're not so certain that they can trust you again. I pray that y'all understand the words of this lesson. For they all would have us afraid, saying, their hands should be weakened from the work, that it be not done. But now strengthen thou my hand. And as for me, I went into the house of Shemaiah, the son of Deliah, the son of Mehetabel, who was shut up. And he said, let us meet together in the house of Elohim. they will even take you into the house of the Almighty. They'll walk with you. That means that they will be a part of this life of a Hebrew Israelite. They can be in this Hebrew Israelite persuasion, this walk of life, still being an enemy to the Almighty. You understand what I'm saying to you? So they'll look like you. They'll wear fringes like you. They'll even say shalom like you. But they won't be of you. And you have to be able to point them out and figure out who they are and separate yourself from them. Within the temple, and let us shut the doors of the temple, for they will come to slay thee. Yea, in the night will they come to slay thee. And I said, should such a man as I flee? Boy, when I read that part there, when I read that part right there, that just touched me. Nehemiah said, I don't run. What do I look like running from somebody? I'm a warrior. I'm a soldier. I'm about it. You ain't gonna see me with pink tights on. With leotards. With a hair wrap in the back of my head with funny looking glasses and holding daisies in my hands. You ain't gonna see me like that because I'm a soldier. A real soldier. That's what Nehemiah said. He said, what does it look like for a man like me to be running? You know what I mean? Yeah, Nehemiah. He's about that life, man. He ain't just talking and performing for the people. Nehemiah is about it. He said, what I look like running up in the house, hiding behind the doors, acting like I'm afraid. He said, what, should a man like me flee? And who is there that being such as I could go into the temple and live? I cannot do that. He says, I will not go in. He said, I won't. And I discern, and lo, Elohim have not sent him. He said, the Most High didn't send this man to me. He didn't send this man to me. For he pronounces this prophecy against me. Wherefore Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him. For this cause was he hired, that I should be afraid. You understand what I'm saying to you? No, you don't. So I'm explaining to you. A lot of things are taking place in our lives right now, and they're taking place to make us afraid, to make us fearful. This whole thing that they're talking about, the coronavirus, this is just to make us fearful, to put fear in our hearts, fear in our minds, because once a person becomes fearful, they don't operate on the same level that they do when they have the confidence to destroy and tear up. They don't operate on the same level because you're operating now in the spirit of fear. And when you have the spirit of fear, fear weakens you. Well, how does it weaken you? Here one of the arts, secrets of martial arts. And you ain't going to hear this, and a lot of people speaking it. So I'm going to share it with you right now. I'm going to just drop a jewel on you, and I'm going to step off again. One of the secrets in martial art is that you don't hesitate. You cannot hesitate. Hesitation is because of fear. And hesitation can cost you your life. So when you seek to do, you must execute right away. You don't hesitate. You don't pause. You don't stop. And one of the most disciplined things is that you don't raise your hand unless you are ready to strike. That's right. You understand? Therefore, you don't hesitate. Unless you're ready to really execute what you have to do, you don't raise your hand. You don't strike. You don't hit. You don't blow. But when you're ready, it shall be done with precision and accuracy without hesitation. And it shall be done. So let's read on. That was another jewel for you today. For this cause was he hired, that I should be afraid and do so and sin, that they might have matter for an evil report. Hesitation brings about fear. It's a result of fear, and it can cause you your life.
And it gives the enemy
Huh?
And it gives your enemy an end.
And he does. It gives him an opportunity. That's right. So you should never hesitate. That they might taunt me. Remember, O my Elohim, Tobiah and Sanballat, according to these their works. Pray against these individuals, that the Most High deal with them. Expose them for who they are. Pray to the Most High to expose these individuals to you in your life, because they're holding you back. They're holding you up. They're keeping you back from getting what the Most High has in store for you. And also the prophetess. It was even a prophetess that was evil and working against the building and restoration of Jerusalem. And the rest of the prophets that would have me put in fear. So the wall was finished in the 25th day of the month Elul. Do anybody know the month Elul? Now Elul is a Babylonian month. Remember when our people went into captivity, they began to keep the Babylonian names and months, and a whole lot of things got twisted in with the Hebrew Israelite culture. So it's the month, the 6th month on the Hebrew calendar is Elul. In the 50 and 2 days, and it came to pass, when our enemies heard thereof, that all the nations that were about us feared, and were much cast down in their own eyes, and they perceived that this work was wrought of our Elohim. When they saw that we had done and achieved all this work, they were upset. They got angry. When Sanballat sees that you have done something great for your future toward the Creator, it angers Sanballat. It makes him jealous. It makes her jealous. It makes her envious. And she feels like she needs to do something to get back at you. So you watch it. You be careful when you're dealing with Sanballat. Because you never know the type of spirit or narcissistic attitude Sanballat may have. Moreover, in those days, the nobles of Judah sent many letters unto Tobiah, and the letters of Tobiah came unto them, for there were many in Judah sworn unto him. See, Sanballat had a lot of people on his team to bring about the destruction of you. And they coerce with each other back and forth and back. For there were many in Judah sworn unto him, because he was the son-in-law of Shechaniah, the son of Arah, and his son Jehonan had taken the daughter of Meshullam, the son of Berechiah, to wife. Lamb, the son of Berechiah, to wife. Also they spoke of his good deeds before me, and reported my words to him. And Tobiah sent letters to put me in fear. But those letters didn't frighten him. Are there any questions?
No, I don't see any in the room.
All right, I'm going to give you a few minutes to type your questions in the room. Just give me one break, please.
Got any questions so far?
Can I get a cup?
All right. Are there any questions?
It's no questions that I've seen.
All right.
No, there's no questions.
But we're gonna close out for the day. May the Most High be praised, and I pray that you allow your spiritual eye to see the lessons of today. This may have been one of the greatest lessons that you've been taught in many years. But yet, you may think that it's not so great until you really dig deep into the messages that has been shared with you on this day. May the Most High be praised forever and forever. Toda Rabbah, family. Toda Rabbah.
Haven't you been doing Nehemiah for the last few weeks?
Mm-hmm.